In the winter of 1621, a baker in Frankfurt opened his shop to find that the coins he had accepted the previous afternoon had lost half their value. He hadn't been robbed. The coins in his till were the exact same he had taken in, the same weight, the same metal, the same face value. But the market's understanding of what those coins actually contained had shifted, and the collapse was irreversible. Princes, bishops, and city councils across the Holy Roman Empire were simultaneously and cynically destroying the silver content of the currency they were responsible for minting. This sudden evaporation of wealth serves as a documented blueprint for how quickly institutional trust dissolves. In 1618, the Holy Roman Empire was a loose confederation of roughly 300 autonomous political units, ranging from large kingdoms to individual lordships. Each of these hundreds of units held the sovereign right to mint its own coins. This overlapping monetary system functioned on the collective reputation of the princes and a shared commitment to maintaining silver standards. The stability broke in May 1618, when Protestant Bohemian nobles threw imperial representatives out of a castle window in Prague, triggering immediate military mobilization across Central Europe. Preparing for war required massive amounts of cash for soldiers and supplies. Traditional tax collection was too slow to meet the sudden demand for liquid capital. 300 desperate rulers faced the same existential threat, and every one held a mint. Debasement allowed a ruler to stretch their silver supply by mixing in copper while keeping the coin's face value the same. Princes chose this path because it avoided the immediate political resistance that followed a tax hike. The theft occurred through the gradual rise of prices. As degraded coins flooded the markets, the population's purchasing power eroded, effectively transferring their wealth to the sovereign. This policy turned the currency into a tool for the invisible extraction of a generation's savings. The mystery of the Kipper and Wipper is why hundreds of independent rulers decided to destroy their own credibility at the exact same time. They were caught in a collective action problem. If one prince debased his currency to pay his troops, his neighbors faced a choice between maintaining their standards or protecting their borders. Under Gresham's law, that bad money drives out good, State A buys real goods from State B using debased coins, draining the silver out of the honest neighbor's economy. To stop the drain, the honest neighbor must debase as well. Within months, the incentive to maintain standards collapsed across the empire. Hyperinflation emerged from a rational game where destroying the system became the only way to survive inside it. The fraud was industrialized by private entrepreneurs known as the Kipper and Wipper, who purchased minting licenses from cash-strapped princes. They traveled to markets with scales, identified heavier coins containing high silver content, and removed them from circulation to be melted down and restruck as debased tokens. The speed of the extraction was unprecedented. In some regions, the silver content of circulating coins crashed by 80% in just 4 years. Food prices doubled and tripled, while wages remained fixed. Artisans, merchants, and pensioners watched their life's work lose its value in the markets. This weaponized system stripped a generation of its lifetime savings. The crisis reached a physical limit around 1623. The coins had been debased so far that they were essentially worthless tokens, forcing authorities to begin the slow process of stabilization. This economic burnout occurred just as the 30 Years' War entered its most destructive phase. Trade between regions froze as no one could agree on exchange rates for hundreds of shifting coins. When armies arrived to requisition supplies, they found rural populations with no savings to purchase seeds and no commercial infrastructure left to move grain. The Kipper and Wipper demonstrated that sacrificing monetary order for short-term gain destroys the societal resilience required to survive a geopolitical crisis. While the minting technology and legal frameworks of 1618 were adequate, the system failed because political incentives shifted. The underlying logic remains. Sovereigns under extreme fiscal pressure will often choose to extract resources invisibly rather than face political resistance. This disaster repeats when institutional fragmentation and fiscal emergency meet a population relying on the issuer's good faith. The true horror was its speed. The gap to catastrophe was crossed in months, as institutional trust shatters in a single moment. Monetary systems function purely on a fragile collective confidence. When desperate authorities abandon restraint, that confidence dissolves faster than the public can adapt.